Thanks for listening to Blondes in the Burbs. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. All right. Welcome to Blondes in the Burbs. This is our first podcast. My name's Jenna.
And I'm Laura.
And we're going to take you through a little wild ride, getting to know us and talking with us.
Enjoy it. I grew up with Jenna. Our families grew up together. And
in the same town, too.
In the same town. I am currently a New Hampshire resident. I just bought a house in Bristol, New Hampshire on a lake, and previously lived in Florida and made my way back up here for a sales gig. And I also work in sales. I used to sell software, and now I sell medical devices. So it's kind of a little bit about me. Nothing, I'm not exciting other than I lived in Florida for 2 years. Like, that's the excitement.
Yeah, but why did you go to Florida?
This is a loaded question. So
I love it.
I was married too. I should have said that. I was married. I'm no longer married.
Okay, divorced or separated?
Divorced.
Okay, fully divorced.
Fully divorced.
Yep.
That was a trip to the courthouse.
At least it was that easy though.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
I got some tips in case any of our listeners out there want to consult.
And no kids.
No kids.
No kids.
I got a dog, a 7-year-old German Shepherd.
Yeah, he's scary.
Yeah, he scares me too. But he's good. He's good to me. But I had the opportunity to move to Florida at the beginning of COVID, and I was really not okay with being locked up.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was the middle of COVID when you moved there.
The beginning of COVID. So my job at the time when COVID started, I lasted a month at home, and then I was like, I can't sit here anymore.
No,
losing my mind. So this job in Florida opened up, and the company paid to relocate me, and I went down there and
without your husband.
Without my husband. Yep.
And you were still married at the time.
I was still married at the time.
How'd that go? Were you just like, I'm moving, do you want to come? Or were you in the midst of getting divorced?
No, I was just like, I'm moving, let's go. And I think...
And he said no.
I think it was more scary for him because he works in construction, so like there were a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he thought he would find a job down there or not, but I worked down there for 2 years. I lived in Claremont, which is outside of Orlando. And then I moved after 1 year, I moved to the beach, St. Augustine Beach.
I know someone that just moved there. It's nice, huh?
Yeah. If I was in Florida still, I'd be on the West Coast, Tampa. Tampa's where it's at, or South Florida. So I did that for 2 years, but I have ADD, so it's hard.
Yeah. Were you bouncing? Were you like...
I was everywhere. I went to every city in the state of Florida, so maybe we do an episode on Florida.
Oh, yeah. Oh. But were you coming back to Mass at all?
Yeah, I came back to Massachusetts a lot, and that was like the height of my flying anxiety. So every time I would come back, I would drive.
Oh, no way. And it was during COVID?
During COVID.
Oh, God.
And I didn't have flight anxiety because of COVID. Like, I was never per se afraid of COVID. It was that was not the reason. I just hate flying because I'm not in control. And, I'm flying tomorrow to Florida.
You are?
Yeah, tomorrow morning. So
I don't want to bring up everything that's going on, but oh my God.
I know all the crashes.
It's pretty bad.
I'm a sick human though, because I watch planes crashing on YouTube to like psych myself into flying. So that's a very...
Yeah, so you're freaked out about flying. It's not about the people sitting next to you. See, I hate sitting next to people.
Yeah. Everyone's crazy. So I moved back up here because my family's up here, my sister, my dad. So I also miss the seasons. Like, there is an element of like, okay, there's only so much summer you can live year round.
It got hot there, right?
Yeah.
Really hot.
So the secret month in Florida is April. That's the best month to go to April. To go to Florida. But May to October is brutal, and I did miss the change of the seasons. So eventually I took a job up here at my last company, and I left that company.
Yep.
Since starting this. I work for a new company, but my goal is to have a summer house in New Hampshire and then a winter house
in Florida. And rent
with
it
some
out,
rental
Airbnb
property.
it, yeah.
The only pain in the ass is that my house in New Hampshire is part of an HOA, so I can't rent it. But it doesn't mean I'll be there forever.
Okay, so you moved to Florida.
Yep.
How old? When was that? After?
That was
2021.
2021 to 2022.
Okay, took a job, moved to Florida.
Came
back here.
Yep.
Lived where? Because now you're divorced when you come back.
I wasn't divorced when I came back. I lived with my ex-husband for like 9 months.
Okay.
Then we were separated, and I lived in an apartment by myself in Mansfield.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I love living alone.
Did you take the dog?
No.
No. Okay.
Because he barks. He's loud.
Yeah. So who took the dog?
He took the dog.
Okay, he took the dog.
The dog only likes 3 people.
Your
dad.
My dad.
Yeah. My ex-husband and me. So he took the dog, and I lived there for a year, and they were going to increase my rent to $2,600 a month, and I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm almost 38 years old. I buy my own house. So I did that. I bought a house in New Hampshire, and I
imagine paying $2,600 a month. Was it a nice apartment?
Yeah, but then I moved home with my dad.
I didn't know that either.
I lived with my dad for like a couple of days, and then he got real. He was mad about it. So
well, he's got a big house. Her dad has
he's very particular about his things, and then I now have a boyfriend, so I stay there sometimes, and then I go up to New Hampshire.
That's cool.
But what I will say about New Hampshire, it's very rural in the winter. There's not a lot to do, so I like to spend most of my time down here.
Yeah. How far's the ride?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
So you'll stay at your boyfriend's tonight?
Yeah, probably go.
Yeah,
I travel. I'm supposed to travel a lot for work. So when I'm not working, I'll figure it out. I'll either stay. Sometimes I stay at a hotel if I need to, but it's not my ideal situation. So.
But you're on water, right?
I live right on the water, so I have a dock. I have a jet ski.
You do?
Yeah. You're invited anytime.
Thanks.
Bring the
coming.
kids. Next year, I'm going to get a pontoon boat.
Yeah, see, I'll go for the pontoon boat.
My own business.
What? Doing what? Just driving people around?
It's called Cheese Louise.
Okay.
My sister's middle name is Louise, and I always think it's ridiculous. So there is actually a grilled cheese place in North Conway, I think, that has a similar name.
Yeah.
Maybe the same name, but I just love the name Cheese Louise, and I want to take the pontoon boat and decorate it as anything related to grilled cheese and sell grilled cheese on the back of my boat.
Pontoon boat. Okay.
Because there is a real need. There used to be an ice cream truck / boat that would drive around the lake and sell people ice creams, and also alcoholic type. I guess you'd call them like Jello shots. Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
I think they got in a little bit of trouble, but I think there's a need because a lot of people go sit on the water.
Yeah.
And they just chill.
So you can swim in the water.
You can. It's the 8th cleanest lake in the U.S.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's called Newfound Lake.
And there's nobody selling anything on the water currently?
Nope. And when I moved there, I became friends with the town clerk. Her name's Rima. She's about 75 years old. I'm sure she's going to listen to this because I told her about my podcast.
She's going to give you the permit to do it.
She's going to give me the permit. So that's kind of like my funny side gig that I want to do. So if anybody's up in New Hampshire and they drive their boat to the lake, buy a grilled cheese for me.
That'll be amazing. But I'm just curious, what, you have to bring a portable grill and
yep. So
like a Blackstone.
Yep. So I think, and anybody listening that knows me, I'm not a cook.
No.
No. I can burn water. So there's that, but I'm gonna figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
I bought a grilled cheese cookbook, so it can't be that hard.
No. Do you know what's gross though? I've seen some people put mayo on their. Do you like mayo?
Nope.
Hate mayo, but I've seen some people to make
What's wrong with people?
Everything. I think mayo should be outlawed and banned. I really do.
What is it? What is mayo anyway?
Eggs.
Oh,
It's like
I can't even.
No, I know.
Do your kids eat eggs?
No, they'll eat eggs.
Do they eat mayo?
Absolutely not. No. Nope. So Vivian came home one day and told me that she didn't want to be friends with someone anymore because the girl brought like her own little to-go mayo, and she was so disgusted.
That's
like,
the right answer.
Immediately,
Vivian is smart.
Yeah, like immediately. Nope, we're not friends. Like this friendship has to end. We're young enough where we're both gonna be able to recover from it. But I'm sorry. It was fun while it lasted. I support her in that too.
So that's a little bit about me, but let's connect to you.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
a stupid
So.
word.
Oh,
You and your
God.
family.
Yeah, I'm Jenna. I'm from Foxborough, same town as you, obviously. Married, my high school sweetheart. Craig.
How long? I feel
10.
like it's been forever.
I know. Well, actually.
May 1st, right?
May 1.
I don't know why I never forget that.
I know. You were at
Yeah,
our
I was
wedding.
at your
Yeah.
wedding, yeah.
I say you
Yeah.
were there. May 1, 10 years.
Wow. But
We're actually
that's
going
married.
to Florida. Married, yeah. So we've been together since 2003.
Oh my God.
So what's that?
So that's
21 years. Yeah.
Wow.
A really long time. Like, when I say, like, been together, like, have never broken up. Like, that's it.
That's wild.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And you two are so cool. So
Thanks.
it's like, I mean, I don't just say that. I wouldn't do a podcast with any random person that's
we
just,
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good people. He's actually going to be editing our podcast, so
We'll bring him on
bring him on the next show.
Yeah, the next show. We should bring him on.
He was kind of upset that he wasn't here today to guide us through this.
Yeah, I think we should point out that he's a huge part of our podcast.
Huge behind the scenes.
None of this would be possible without...
Shout out to you, Craig.
None of this would be possible without him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I'm not technologically savvy, but...
So we're going to let him edit.
Yeah.
We'll do the talking, he can edit.
Yep.
What else? We have 3 kids, 3 girls. Vivian is 8, Madison is 3, and Sloan is 2. Madison and Sloan are 11 months apart.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That was insane.
Do you think that they feed off each other because they're so close in age? Like,
their big thing now is like
copy Madison and vice versa.
Yeah, sometimes I feel bad because I feel like Sloan skipped like the baby phase.
Oh.
It's like, you know when like little babies have like baby toys?
Yeah.
Like she just went straight to painting her nails and putting on lip gloss.
She's instant teenager.
Yeah, but now their big thing is saying they hate each other. Like, I hate you. I don't love you anymore. And Madison's like, I have the worstest family when they get in fights.
Oh.
But they're both, so next month they'll both be 3.
Oh my gosh.
For a little over a month, so.
Wow.
Sloan, we joke with her, say she snuck her way into our family.
From the mailman?
Yeah, it was really bad. So when I went to go get a new job, they sent me for a drug test and like the medical exam. And they didn't tell me I was pregnant, but when they called me, they were like, they said something weird that like triggered me to be like, why are they calling me? Like, this is weird. I've never been called about whatever. So I went to the doctor and I was pregnant with Sloan.
Oh my gosh.
And the place I was going to go work took the job back too.
Can they do that?
I feel like, so here's the problem. When I was pregnant with Madison, I interviewed for this job and it was a physical job. I was going to be a cop. So I interviewed for this job and I was pregnant with her. So they were like, okay, she's pregnant. Like, we'll like hire her when she's not pregnant anymore. So then I wasn't pregnant. I went through the hiring process.
Oh my gosh.
And then like during the hiring process, I got pregnant again. So I think they were like, oh my God, this girl sucks. Like, who does that?
Oh, you have 3 kids.
3 kids, 3 girls. It's mayhem. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
It's interesting. So does Vivian entertain the 2 younger ones?
Sometimes she will. Like she'll like if they're doing nails or whatever. But Vivian's also 4 years. So Vivian was, I want to say she was like 5 when the other 2 were born. No, 4. But she was a preemie, so I got spooked. And after I had, so she was 2 months early.
Oh.
So I had her. She was in the NICU, the whole 9 yards with the whole.
That's scary.
Preemie. I know. And it was our first. It was probably good that it was our first because I didn't know any better to be like, oh wow, this is like horrible.
Yeah.
Because all I knew was that it was a new.
I mean, she looks like a normal.
Yeah, she's
young
totally
girl
normal
now.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I would think she wouldn't be normal, but like with preemies,
She's the tallest one on the lacrosse team. I was watching yesterday. I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
Wow. She plays lacrosse?
Yeah.
That's the new thing, I think, in Foxborough.
It's the new thing.
It never was when we were in high school.
I don't think they had a league.
No, I don't think so.
But she's doing lacrosse, yeah. But she's totally fine now.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Like, when she was born, I was like, oh, my God. Like, we cannot. And they still don't know why she was born early. They're just like, oops, that happened.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy.
Right? So then I was like, all right, we're going to wait to have another kid. But we waited 4 years.
Yep, and then had 2.
Back to back.
Did you always want 3 kids?
I always wanted 4. And then after I had the 3, I was like, okay, maybe we might be good at 3. This is kind of crazy. But it is, like, everyone's always like, you're going to go for the boy? I'm like, well, how do you do that? Like,
no.
You don't. Yeah. Well, you can't. Like,
I mean, because we both come from a family, 2 girls, 2 boys.
2 boys, yeah.
And I always thought that was cool.
Yeah. But you're 2, like, youngers are twins, and I'm a twin. So I feel like if you were to ask our parents, like, were you going for 4? They'd probably be like, no. I just got a bonus.
Yeah.
I know, but I see all these people with, like, 5 or 6 kids, and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, when Vivian was a baby, I worked the 3 to 11 shift. So it was easier.
Yeah.
It was easier because back then I had, like, Tuesday and Wednesday off.
Oh.
So it was easier. So I didn't need daycare on Tuesday and Wednesday. But now being in, like, corporate America, working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
So talk about daycare, because I have friends that have kids.
Yeah.
And that's insane.
I've never done it. I've never done daycare.
Okay. Because I was going to say, my friend pays $3,200 a month.
Yeah. How many kids?
2. I mean, as you get older, I think it gets
I know. It gets cheaper. I've done, like, random, like, ad hoc programs. Like, Madison's in, like, a public preschool. The other one goes to... They've always gone to, like, random, like, little, like, centers for, like, 2 hours. But I've never done a full, like, you're getting dropped off at 7, you're getting picked up at 5. Yeah.
That's sweet.
And that kind of was nice with working the off hours.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of...
But now it's easier as they get older, right? And you have this sweet gig.
Yeah.
Sweet
now
sales
they're...
gig.
Yeah, like, I'm definitely more flexible now.
Yeah.
Definitely more flexible.
I mean, I have a dog, and I'm always like, oh, boy, I don't know how parents do it.
No, I don't know how. I don't know how people do it.
I
like, a lot of people have, like, 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing with them? Although I have heard that people say the more kids you have, they raise each other.
Well, yeah, I think that might be...
That might be not true.
That might be the key. I don't know, because we all grew up with 4. It was great, like, for the most part.
Yeah, I feel like 4 was fun.
Yeah. And our parents are still around. Well, not my mom, but our parents are still around to...
Talk about it.
That's like, remember we worked a catering shift this past summer? And we went over to Millie's.
Yeah, after.
So Millie is Jenna's mother. She's amazing.
Yep, so we did... what did we go? Oh, to bring her flowers.
Oh, yeah, because we worked this ridiculous catering gig.
Yeah, why did we do that? It was manual labor. So, a little bit about, we should talk about our jobs.
Okay, yeah, our jobs.
All right, so I am a former police officer.
Yeah.
I did 9, like, give or take 9 or 10 years. Wow. I started part-time, sent myself to the police academy, and then I got full-time on a police department in Boston. And and I left and got this sales job. And then I've always worked weird, like, I kind of consider my little odd jobs like details when I used to work details. So when you came to me to see if I wanted to do the catering, but I was like, this is crazy. Like, you can make like $300 serving like bacon wrapped scallops.
Yep.
Like, sure. I just hope I don't see anybody I know, but I will definitely go serve like spinach and cheese squares.
Yeah. And I think as it went on, it was funny.
It was
like,
hilarious.
The people watching was why
outstanding.
I did it. Yeah, so we did catering. You did catering. What else?
I did private investigator.
Yeah.
Still do that. And then what else have I done? No, that's really it. Because when I was a cop, I always worked in details. Yeah. Now I'm full-time biotech sales, which I love. I don't see myself pivoting away from that.
Yeah, it's a fun... Sales is
Sales
I work
is so
in a
fun.
little bit of a similar, I think, situation, but...
I think, pretty
I went
similar.
to... I started out in college wanting to be a meteorologist. And
I remember that. You went to Linden State.
Yeah, and here we are.
How did you pivot from that, wanting to be a meteorologist?
To sales?
Yeah.
I think I realized out of college I was never going to make money.
Oh, they don't make money?
They do, but I have friends that are still in the industry and they don't make money.
Yeah.
Like I make money
in sales.
So then I have a master's in business, but do you know what MBA stands for? You will never unlive this.
No.
I'm like a weird, quirky person. I don't like titles. I just think they're stupid.
You don't put it after your signature. You don't have MBA.
I never do.
I always thought it was Master, Bachelor, Arts or something.
It stands for Master Bullshit Artistry. Masters in Bullshit Artistry. So...
I thought but is that what it legit stands for? Master's
in Business Administration. But I did that just before COVID. So I did that in 15 months every Saturday.
Did you really? You had to go on campus?
8 to 5 in Boston.
Where?
I went to Suffolk. The reason I went there was because it was the easiest program to do in 15 months. There's not many programs that you can do in 15 months that had the same curriculum, but I had to take...
Yeah.
So I started in the fall of 2018, and then in, the spring of 2019, I had to take 4 weeks off from work to travel and do, school and stuff.
Do you think that the money that you spent on getting that has...
helped me?
Yes.
No,
I know. I always wonder that.
It helped me in a sense that the company I worked for at the time looked at it as an opportunity to push somebody through, the corporate game. But but I will say, I do use it as leverage to make more money when I go apply for jobs, because I'm always applying for jobs.
You're always applying for jobs. But that's a funny thing to me. So, I was in a union for 10 years. I was always in a union where I'm getting paid the same as anybody else that's at my level. I knew I was getting 3%. I know me and Mike were getting paid the same amount of money. So going into corporate America, really fighting for the dollar was crazy.
The weird thing in corporate, I don't know if you encountered this, is that they don't want you to talk about your pay amongst your team members.
Oh, yeah, pay transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is illegal for them to silence you.
It is? In Mass, is it?
I believe in Massachusetts. Oh. It wasn't when I lived in Florida. It's illegal for them to try to silence you.
Yeah.
And they did try to do that at my previous company. And so that became really interesting. But now I work at a startup, and so that's a whole different ball game. But
I know a lot of people are doing the whole startup game, though.
I work for an Israeli company now, and I will say there are significant differences going from a German company to an Israeli company that could be a whole episode in itself. But
do you get better time off?
The Israelis work Sunday to Thursday, and my work week is Monday through Friday. So from the sense of dealing with leadership from the Israeli side, and they're also their day ends at 9 a.m. my time.
Oh, because
so I really only have to deal with them if I have to get on a call in the morning
at 8. Yeah.
I'm not a morning person, so it's tough for me. But so I guess it's different in that regard. But time off, no. I get the same time off.
Sweden has good time off.
Yeah. My last job, I had 7 weeks of vacation.
That's outstanding. Although I don't think it's when you get a job with unlimited PTO. I don't know.
It's not good.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do miss the corporate lifestyle, so that's why I'm just all over the place with it.
But back to our catering.
Oh, catering,
We had so much fun catering. I know the job.
We both did catering on the side.
And we definitely weren't doing it for the money. It was for me, with the 3 kids, I was all right, I'll go out and cater.
Can we talk about the time they sent you home?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay. So, now I think this was last year. So I had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 7-year-old. So any time someone said, do you want to go pick strawberries at Ward's in the dead of the summer? Yep, I'll be right there. Like, sure. I will do anything. I would have done anything. So when you were like, want to go cater or go out for drinks after? I'm like, yeah, I don't care if I get $20. Like, let's go. As long as I get enough to cover my drinks after, sure. So I order all the outfits and get there. And you trained me my first shift. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is manual labor. Like, we were like wheeling down tables. And like, it was so labor intensive. And like, we had to carry like heavy plates of beef and chicken. And you know what I will say? If anybody's listening that's getting married, like, don't just that, and like wedding food is foul. Like, there is no good, like the amount of stuff that I've seen, like, I mean, I've gone to weddings where it's been like in a barn or whatever, and they're like heating it up, and
it could be a Four Seasons or just your typical barn wedding. It's all the same.
Yeah,
it's microwaved,
no one
reheated.
Remembers. Like, what did I have at my wedding? Do you remember? Because I don't know what I had at yours.
Know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, no one knows.
Yeah.
Whatever. If someone says the food sucks, fine, cool. I'd rather spend money on a DJ.
No one's gonna remember it.
No.
Ever.
And the wedding food is just, and like like that catering job. I'm like, oh my god! Like, we're carrying prime rib down a hill on a
outside
hot
on
August
a hot day. Some days it rains.
It was atrocious, and like, you just, I don't even know what we were getting paid, but
and then we were not getting paid what it was worth.
No,
except for the laughs.
The laughs, like the people that worked there. So you trained me the first day. I get there and everything was like nice, and I was like, all right, cool. I think I got like $190 or something, but it ended up being like $40 an hour.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right,
it was all right.
This is like not the same money that I was getting working a detail, but I'll do it for fun.
Yep.
So I come back the next day. It was the next day or the next weekend. I can't remember.
It was the next weekend.
To work a shift. Like, Laura, let's go. We're going off for drinks after. This is going to be so much fun. And they were like, Jenna.
They hauled you off.
Yeah, they hauled me off like I literally robbed them. They were like, you did a no-call, no-show. I'm like, what?
What are you talking about?
Like, first of all, like, no call. I've been here for a day. I don't even know who you are. Like, I don't even know anyone here. I don't even know how I'm getting paid. I'm just here to serve bacon wrapped scallops and giggle at everybody. So yeah, they were like, you did a no call, no show. Like, you need to leave. You have to call.
They escorted you.
Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Are you sure you're talking about Jenna? Like, could there have been like a Jane?
The characters that they hired were.
Oh, I know. Like, they were like asking us, like, do you have any drugs? I'm like, no.
And what makes you think that we do drugs?
No, because she said we looked fun.
Yeah, we looked fun.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I don't know. You guys looked like you were fun. I just didn't know if you had any drugs. I'm like, no, I don't.
I mean, then she let you come back.
No, yeah, all right. So she kicks me out.
She made a mistake.
Yeah. So but they like violently kicked me out, like escorted me off the property, like. And I was not embarrassed. That's the best part. Like, I was like, all right, cool, like, whatever.
This is like a side gig.
Yeah.
That like
I did for like to hang out with you and get paid and like be able to tell my family like I'm going to work, like I have to leave. So yeah, they like escorted me out, and then I was like, should I call this number? Like, is this really worth the $40 an hour? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah. Like, let me call. So I call, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. They just escorted me up the property. They said it was a no call, no show. Turns out it was like a total mistake. So she was like, you can come back next weekend.
I can't.
So I ended up going out shopping and spent the money that I would have spent. Went home. I don't even know if I told Craig. I'm going to have to like follow up with Craig and see if I told him that. But I was like.
But the best part of the story is that I'm not allowed to go back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This gets better. So Laura is banned from the 2025 season.
Oh, my God. One wedding I worked, I did 27,000 steps.
Yeah, like, no.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
So we were moving chairs.
In the dark.
160 chairs in the dark.
Like wedding chairs, not fold up IKEA chairs. Like, these were wedding heavy.
I could only carry 2 at a time. So imagine how many steps to carry 160. And we were going a quarter of a mile.
We were going
from where the ceremony was to a shed.
Yeah. I know, and I fell.
And you fell.
Yeah, but it wasn't even a graceful fall.
Miss Corporate Laura.
Yeah, fired off an
gets
email.
my email up, and I'm like, I forget what I said.
It was like
this
14 paragraphs.
Yes, it was unacceptable. You hire people that aren't doing their job, and you make us do their job.
Yeah, because we weren't supposed to be moving those anyways.
No, it was the drug people that basically wanted us to move the chairs because they were too heavy for them, which I understand, but then you shouldn't be in this job. So I wrote an email, and I was basically
fired
told
off an email
that I was out of line.
Yeah,
Because I said some things that were true. But But see, I live in a world of truth.
Yeah, I know.
I don't live in a world of like fantasy where it's like you have to tiptoe on everyone's feelings.
Especially at a job like that. Like
at a job like that I'm doing
so
for
funny.
fun. So that's the story of the catering. And now I work. Sometimes I work at a side gig, but I like
you still do catering.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
Not at that company, obviously.
No.
But and this summer, I don't know what I'll do, but maybe do catering in New Hampshire because I'll spend a lot of time up there.
I'll tell you, there's a ton of money in the service industry.
Yeah, there is.
If you want to cater,
I couldn't
bartend.
do it full time though.
No, I feel like my body. I'm too old.
I'm too old for. I'm almost 40. I'm 39, so it's a bit much. But plus, I like to enjoy my weekends.
I know that's a thing too. If you could get, you know what would be a good gig?
Yeah.
If you could cater corporate events, like
like
when my company has like dinners on like Tuesdays.
Send me to McGolf. I'll do that. I love golfing.
Golf outings.
Send me to McGolf. Not McGolf. That's near where I used to live. Top Golf.
Top Golf. Yeah.
My old company used to do all our corporate events at Top Golf because there were so many people and that was the only place big enough.
I'll tell you, catering is the best way to get some money.
Yeah.
Even like quick you know money. You know what did stink about that job though?
What?
Not this company. So when I was doing it at the company you're at now, I did like when you would do it and see people that you knew because I'm like,
I didn't care. I just talk to everybody. I don't shut up.
I hated that. Like I would be like, like you want more mashed potatoes?
I think in the beginning it was interesting, but I mean that's not my sole.
Yeah,
job,
it's just like a side gig.
Once I like realized that, like quickly you get into and like I think the catering job was harder than my real job.
Oh my God, for sure.
Because we were just talking about how jobs are really just about talking to people.
Yeah, sales. That's what was good with transitioning. So how I transitioned from being a police officer to sales was I was like, what am I gonna do? So I was like, let me get out of this industry for a couple of years and then regroup.
I think you were smart because as we see what's happening in Canton these days.
Oh my God, I know. I know.
So they may not know this about me, but I'm pro Karen Reed's very innocent.
Yeah, she's going to trial in April.
And
do you think she'll go to trial though now that Proctor was fired?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have written letters to Donald Trump to ask for him to
pardon or something. Yeah, can he do that?
How
many people do you think do that? Are writing Donald Trump letters for Karen Reed?
I know Joe Exotic does.
Joe Exotic. That got me through COVID.
Yeah, Joe Exotic got me through COVID.
That got me through COVID.
But yeah, I mean, I think that industry is really toxic and hard to.
Yeah, that was a tough job. I mean, you know what? I loved the job.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely my favorite job in the world. Like, I loved it. But now I was like, all right, let me what do I do all day, every day? And it was like, I'm just talking to people. And I feel like I could talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I like everybody. There's not like many people that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like there's like 5 or 6 people that I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
But they've like done me dirty. Like, I don't.
For sure.
I don't just be like, I'm not like, oh my God, I hate them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people that have.
I think sales is such an interesting like space to get into because you just go, like you said, talk to people.
I know.
And like.
It's so fun.
If I told people what I sell for a living, I sell like, it's not complex, very basic blood analyzer that uses AI.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm talking about, but I wouldn't have known 3 years ago.
3 years ago. But do you loop in like a specialist or?
Yep, yeah. And you just, you figure it out like one step at a time. And Yeah. So I think that's like, I mean, it can get very monotonous, right? Chasing your tail, doing the same thing. But
chasing the quota.
That's why a catering gig for me was like really fun and exciting and.
Yeah, I know. It was fun. We should try to find something. See, here's the problem. I would definitely 100% go be a bartender somewhere or a server. I'd go be a waitress, but I can't commit.
I know.
Now that I've left like the clocking out world, because I used to clock in at my last job. I would clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
Like I was there. I would get held. Like it would be 8:00 at night, and like a sergeant or a lieutenant would be like, "Oh, you have to stay for the midnight." And that, like, I remember telling my friends that, like, if we had plans, they'd be like, just tell them no, you're not staying. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, I have to stay. But if I had a waitressing job and, like, something came up on a Saturday and I had to find...
I'm not doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I have to find coverage. Like, no.
Yeah, I'm not about that either.
That's why I liked catering. Because you could just sign up.
Yep.
You know, add.
And you knew like a couple weeks.
You knew
maybe
like
a week or two before.
A week before.
And if you didn't want to, you didn't have to.
You didn't have to. Like there was no minimum. Yes. I've seen a couple of jobs that are like secret shoppers that I've been playing around with.
That's a fun.
I know.
Side.
I feel like I would like to be a secret shopper.
Yeah.
Like the jobs that I've seen online lately are for like movie theaters.
Oh.
Yeah.
What it like?
You would like make sure that they like greeted you when you walked in, like charged you appropriately for the right movie.
Oh.
There was something too about like when you went and got a snack, they had to say like, "Oh, do you want a large?" instead of
And you asked, did you? Yeah.
In the report, but there was one that was gonna be at like a restaurant, and the pay was like $10 for you, but they would pay for your meal.
That's crazy.
I know. But I'm like, you know what? Whatever. If it got me out of the house.
I mean, some people, I think about like us doing all these weird things, like jobs and, but there's so many people who don't want to work. And that's why all these jobs are posted. So
there's a lot of like fun, random jobs.
Yep.
Random.
Like you could do anything.
This podcast. So we should probably tell you guys what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So
we're going to talk. You kind of got a little
glimpse of
us right there. We're just going to go and talk about
anything.
Yeah, we're running out of time today, but I feel like we're going to.
I think the forum that, we're kind of aiming towards is to bring on random guests that
we need some guests. Yeah.
Some knowledge of what's happening in the world today.
Yeah.
Also, hot topics. And one of the hot topics we were chatting about this morning was Ruby Franky. So,
oh my God, I can't wait to dive into that.
I think we're going to chat about her first.
Yeah. Did you watch the documentary?
I watched the documentary. I think it's, for me, I don't have children. So I was talking to Jenna about this. Like, it's interesting to see the perspective of, like, from a mother's view and a non-mother's view. I think both collectively we agree that that woman is very messed up.
Yeah.
And even somebody like who doesn't have the natural instinct to be like, oh my God, this person's really crazy. Like,
right.
Like I have the natural instinct, I think, to know when something's wrong. It's like, when you see, I don't know, like a poor kid who like breaks his leg or something, I'm obviously going to be like, oh my God, you got to take that kid to the ER. But like,
I know.
I think from just both points of view, it's like that is a very messed up story, and what a sad.
I know. So you know what's crazy?
Sad existence for those poor children.
You know what's crazy to me is, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on moms with social media to be like perfect and like, oh yeah, this is great. Like I have my shit together. I can take her to dance, take her to basketball, take her to soccer, and still cook dinner and do all this.
Yep.
So I kind of understood why she turned it into a job for everybody, which is messed up. But she also got like possessed.
Yes.
So she brought in the speaker, Judy. What was her name? Hildebrandt.
Yeah, Hildebrandt. Yep, Jody Hildebrandt.
Jody Hildebrandt. So this lady's on YouTube making, her husband said, $100,000 a month on YouTube, just like exposing her kids essentially. Like, I mean, like, and now for me as a mom, like I put my kids on social media but I don't like make them.
You don't expose them or exploit them for money.
I'm not exploiting them for money.
Yeah.
I vet out who my friends are.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, oh my God, go over there and take a picture in front of that apple and bite it so we can tag the apple company and get some money. Like, that's what she was essentially doing. She was like taking fun and turning into non-fun. Like, they went to New Hampshire or Disney.
Yeah.
And she was like, take this picture in front of this ride, take that. So I feel like she was making it not fun, but that's how she was getting her money.
And imagine, this is what I thought about the whole time, was like, imagine if that poor little boy did not escape.
Oh my God, I know.
If he didn't escape, they'd still be living that nightmare.
Yeah.
All of them.
But, okay, so here's what's weird to me. So she gets the kids on social media, and then they're making all of this money. They buy this big, huge house. Then the husband, she gets possessed by the Hildebrandt lady or whatever. And she's like, we need time away from our marriage. And the husband's like, okay. And just vacates for a year.
Do you think...
And doesn't talk to his kids?
Yeah. But I wonder if that's partially the mental game that these women were playing with them. Like...
Yeah, because he was involved in that group. Like, you have to be away.
Yeah.
But, like, he had no idea what was going on with his kids.
And I think, like... I mean, you don't really know what normal is these days, but like, he had to see that was not like a loving, fostering environment prior to them breaking up.
Yeah.
He had to see all the abuse that was happening. He had to.
I just don't get, so you're away for a year and you're not like coming there on Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Jewish holidays, Christian, whatever. You're just gone for a year. But you're still married. Yeah. And you have no idea that your kids are... I mean, that to me was like the craziest part.
He's seeking custody of the children now. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, what right person's going to give this guy custody of the children in this scenario?
You know what else was crazy too is the older daughter that was interviewing, they like went to DSS. Yeah. And they were asking for help. And
several times.
I know.
And they ignored it. But when I had somebody I knew of that went to work for DSS in Massachusetts, whatever it's called, DCF, and I, like, not to be political, but I think that there needs to be some type of, like, reform in the way that they do things.
They're, like, overwhelmed or something.
It's not, like... throw more money at it and resources. I do think they're understaffed, but like, how are you understaffed and understanding it? Like, and I think a lot of that falls on the state. Like, you know, you have to understand it, but those poor kids, imagine the trauma.
Do you think that when they showed up, when DSS showed up, she was doing like her YouTube, like, hi, how are you? Come on in. And like, just gave off like this
perfect life, and
like her life literally looked perfect.
I know. And then you realize she's like starving her children.
And she was like, she had a diary, and she was like the boy, calling him the boy.
Yeah,
it was almost like that book, A Child Called It. Remember that book?
Yeah.
But I feel bad for the kids because nobody was like looking out for the kids.
No. And imagine like the trauma those poor children probably have going into DCF, like custody.
Are they with the dad though now, or?
I don't know. Did the dad get custody? I'm not sure.
I
think he was fighting for it.
Well, I mean, it was a little, even the police officer girl that they were interviewing was like, I mean, this is weird. Yeah. And like the neighbors too, like they were like, we would walk by and we would see the kids in the window and, you know, that was weird. I'm like, no shit, that was weird. You didn't think, if I walked by my neighbor's house, I saw the kids in there every day without the mother, I would maybe think about phoning the police. Yeah. Or like, hey, what are you guys doing?
Just saying something to somebody, like bringing someone's attention to it.
You wait till you get on a documentary and you're like, yeah, that was really, really fucking weird.
Yeah, that's that whole story, wild. And then I go deep diving into like Mormons and
yeah, I know, because she was like, so in her mind, what she thought was that the kids were possessed. Yep. And that should we like tell the viewers that haven't seen this show what it was all about? Did we kind of?
I like partially, I watched like most of it, but like.
Yeah, so she basically was like a perfect Mormon. Yep. And then brought in Hildebrandt, and then she thought that the two younger kids were possessed.
Yes. Yep.
And there's something about like the Mormon culture or community where you can't like go to heaven if...
Yes. Yep.
I don't know.
You can't go to heaven if you're like a demon or something.
Yeah. So she thought in her head that she was helping the kids by getting the devil out, or the possessed person out. Which was, she put the kid in the sun and poked him with a cactus or whatever.
Yep. Oh.
She tied him up. Yeah. And then he got out, and I mean, that's really sad.
Yeah. So the Mormons, which is also associated with the Church of Latter-day Saints, believe in a literal devil, which is Satan.
Yeah, yeah.
And the possibility of a demonic possession, viewing him as a spirit who tempts and deceives humanity. That's a lot, but like...
Yeah, but something clicked in that lady's head after she brought Hildebrandt in.
Yep. And then... And they're in jail for a long time.
Oh my God, that's another thing too, like...
40 years, I think.
What she did was horrendous.
Yeah.
But I was shocked to see that amount of time. Like, I've seen vehicular homicide here in Mass, and you're getting, like, 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, she deserves it. Especially, like, for me, I'm like, oh, my God, like, your one job is to take care of those kids. That's it. And, like, she was a stay-at-home mom. She was making money off of them.
Yep.
She was just... And I kind of blame the husband, too. Like, you're not 100% innocent here.
No, but they basically aren't going to charge him with anything. And
no, because he was just gone.
Yeah, I think he's equally as guilty.
I don't know. I can't picture Craig packing up.
And just never
If I was like, hey, you know what? I think our marriage needs some work. Like, peace. Him packing up his shit and be like, okay. And just leaving. No. Like, and if he thought, like, you suck, Jenna, he would at least fight for his kids.
Yes.
Like,
yep.
That, to me, was so red flag.
Telling point, I think.
I know. I think he might have been involved in it a little bit.
Yep.
But he might have been saying to her, like, yeah, maybe they are possessed.
It's just
you do
weird.
it.
They all, like, the woman was the only one charged, and I don't know.
I know.
would think that always the guy's involved, you know?
I do, too.
Yeah. It's,
like, so, and then you're going to the school. I mean, Vivian's school called me because Sloan bit her at the bus stop one morning. So, like... were they going to school? Were they homeschooled? Like, does nobody check in on homeschool kids?
I don't think so.
That's sick. Like, there needs to be some type of homeschool check-in going on here.
Yeah, I think the only homeschool check-in is, like, taking tests.
Yeah.
Can your kid pass a test?
But, like, no. So you're just homeschooled? You're, like, non-existent.
Well, and I always thought this, too. I'm like, how does some of these, kids fall off the radar of, like, just...
Go missing,
like, and nobody really knows about them.
Yeah,
why
because
doesn't
they're
the doctor
homeschooled.
know that they don't come to visit? Why doesn't I don't know. There should be red flags in my mind, but
okay, that's enough talking about Ruby Franky for now. She's a sick individual. She belongs in jail. But we did it. We recorded our first episode. We hope you all enjoyed listening to us. See you on our next episode.